Yes. Deepa is.
Yes, sir. Just starting to
Okay.
record.
So, Suprabhatam, Suswagatam to everybody. So, let us start our Adhyayana with the grammatical salutation to Panini. Please recite the verse. Yenakshara samamnayam.
Sir, can we see it?
Little have to recite because this is the what we need to recite. Then our sound will be more here. Tuned.
Uh,
Yenakshara samamnayam.
Yenakshara
Samamnayam
Samamnayam adhigamya maheshwarat.
Adhigamya
Adhigamya
Maheshwarat
Maheshwara
Krishnang vyakaranang proktam.
Krishnam
Krishnam
Vyakaranam
Vyakaranam
Proktam
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 tasmai paninaye namaha.
Tasmai
Tasmai
Paninaye Namaha.
Each word in the verse, any verse we read, try to understand each word so that we will understand how it is, composed and how the meaning is conveyed in a very. Why that shloka is there is to. It is easy for us to recite as well as to remember. Then the prose form. Poetry is always remembered first. Then the prose. Okay. Next we'll go to Shiva Sutras. Om. So Ayun,
Ayun
Rilik,
Rilik
Eom,
Eum
I ouch,
I
Ayam
out
Hayavarat,
Hayavarat
Hayavat
Learn,
Learn
Learn
Nyamananam,
Yamanam
Jabhaya,
Yamanama
Jabhay,
Javai
Dharadhas,
Dhadadhas
Javagadadas,
Jabagada
Javagadadach
Kapa Chatata, Chatatab,
Khapa
Khapa
Chatata
Tha
Chatatab,
Chatata
Kapai,
Kappai
Sesasar,
Shashasar
Shasasar
Hal.
Hal
Hal
Iti Maheswarani Sutrani
Iti Maheshwarani Sutrani
Anadi Sangyarthani.
Anadi
Anadi
Sangyat
Sangyarthani.
So this is all for Anadi Sangya and these are the Maheshwara Sutras. Here we are going to see today the all from beginning to 1 to 14. Begin with A, last is La. We have seen Ach and Hal. Ach means Swara, Hal means consonants, but all means both vowels and consonants. So we'll see how where it is used. Today is the chance to see that. Next we'll go to now. We'll start today with actually I had given these lakaras which represent the 10 divisions of time. The time is divided. But suffix is used for expressing the meaning of tenses and moods. So these are the inflectional suffixes thing. Next, please. So this what we are getting this. The roots are classified into 10 classes, which is called ganas. The 10 classes are marked by their gana, that is bhuadi, adadi. That's why they begin with the whichever root begins with a group, it is named after bhu, adi, bhuadi. Here it is ekojanachi, sutra is used. Bhu plus adi, bhuadi. That means the roots beginning with bhu. So there is a larger section, bhuadi. So we get the form bhavati, adadi, adi, adadi. Ad is to eat. Adadi means ad, etc. So this is another group where see O is not there, Ad plus Ti becomes Ati. So this is the difference between the ganas, the classes of roots. Juhoti, here is in doubling. Next we will go to, so what is happening? There are dasa lakaras and dasa ganas. The ganas are classified on this basis, bhuadi, kartari, shap, pratyaya. So bhuadibhya sap, dibadibhya syan, swadibhya snu. These classes take particular suffix in between the root and the main suffix thing. So when you say bhavati, bhu or ti, sap becomes a, shan becomes ya. So the sakara lopa takes place. So in all these are called the agamas or vikaranas. Vikarana means which comes in between root and the inflectional suffix thing. This is vikarana is coming mostly in the verbal conjugation. And these vikaranas are known as infixes. and they are used only to bridge the gap between the root and the suffix. So when you say bhu plus ti, the sap is coming to represent the kartari sap. Whenever akara is used in between the root and the suffix, it is used in the sense of agent, kartari sap. Now, so like that, dasa ganas are classified by these rules to show that there are only formal differences. Whereas lakaras, the suffixes undergo change. Next, please. These are the 12 lakaras, how it is shown that you can see this. So lot you have root plus sub plus thing, you get bhavati, and sutra is you get when you get lot, so time is divided and again defined. Lot means vartamane lot in the sense of present. So each division of time is also explained in the sutra. The sutras tell that how the time has been divided and on what basis. So vartamane lat. Always saptam is used in the sense of meaning. Vartamane means vartamana arthe. When there is a time of present, use the lat lakara. Lat lakara is used. And a lit lakara parokya. As I told you, the past is divided into three. Parokya means which has happened long before our born also. Before we took birth also, this thing what has happened, it is called. So the form become babhuva. This way, the 10 lakaras has been distinguished. Which there again, if in between you see, there is sap in the lat lakara, but there is duplication. RR means double. The root is doubled, babhuva. So in the lit lakara, the feature is the root is doubled. In all the dhatus. So ditva, it is called the duplication, takes place in the lit lakara. Then you get tas is agama in lit lakara. So shetas. So for that also he has given every rule. When tas comes, bhavishyati, shya comes for future. So like that, different forms, see same suffix, one suffix thing, it is all in third person singular. One suffix undergoes change 10 times because of the division of time. Whenever you use to change in time, the suffix undergoes the change. And when suffix undergoes change, so there is also change in the root. So this change, or what we call bikara, is very clearly seen between root and suffix. So whenever root takes a suffix, you get the change. We don't get much changes in the nominal forms, the subantas. Only in tingantas, the verbal conjugation, we have more changes because the verbal roots are of different categories again, not only in classes, but also again based on ajanta and halanta, they take also different agamas. That we will be seeing. So these are the 10 lakaras represent that one suffix. So that means 9 suffixes undergo change 10 times. That's why you get 10 forms, 90 forms in each root. In Kartari. And so this is what this is called these thing suffixes which are used here. Just see this. There is actually the centrality of the syntax or the language. What language means today for us, or what you understand in the Indian tradition. This is Ladesa is a new concept, is innovation of Panini. Why do you need law? So if you see this, so there is 3, 4, 67, we have Kartari Krut. Krut suffixes are used also in the sense of Kartari. We will be seeing that. From that, because in the order, the same word Kartari has been inserted in this second sutra. Laha karmani bhabecha akarmakya. This is a sutra which is very, very important for us to understand what language means to us. How language is generated. What is exactly language? What do we mean? Whether it is a word, whether it is a sound, whether it is a sentence or meaning, or all put together. If all put together, how then we are distinguishing, how we are using. So one is the language. If you remember, I told those who are linguists, they know the Saussure has given this idea of in 19th century. That is langue and parole. Language is there. It is abstract. Language is abstract form. It is there in the mind. But when it is used, it is called parole or competence or performance. The same concept, long before. If you look at this basic idea that language or the sounds, what we talk or words or sentences, they are used always in two levels. One is in the mind, mental level. Another is what we utter or what we ucharita veda. Ucharana veda. This is explained by Bharatwari himself. It is come later that those of those will be seeing when we come to Bhartruhari, little 1 minute, before, this is what trying I'm going to see. This rule, Sanibad, you take to the previous slide, please, Deepa. Previous slide. So about the law, I want
Yes,
to,
sir, yes.
certain clarification required. What is that? Now, why law is required? What does it mean? Yeah, please. So Lakara is a new innovation. Though we are talking of word, sound, meaning, sentences, but nobody talks of law. So why Panini uses the word law? No, please, go before little. So you go to that Lakara rules, please. No, before. La karmani bhave cha akarmakya. This sutra has three aspects actually. Try to understand. This is the only key or this is the only sutra which tells many things about the language. Look at this. So he is describing la in the sense of laha. When you are using lakara, it is a, now as you see this la is an abstract entity. It is there in our mind in a particular form. What is that form? Why you need law? Now, law represents three meanings. First, that is karmani, bhabe, cha, here it kartari comes, so kartari. So that means lakara is used in the sense of kartari, mean adjective or active. Karmani, we know passive, and bhave, stative. So what are these? Whose meaning it is? Is it the meaning of any word? Karta, karma, and bhava. These are the basic concepts in Indian linguistics that any sentence we use, they can be either kartari, reactive, passive, or static. This was first classification done by Panini in 5th century BC. Just look at why I am telling. And you see this, akarmakebhya. Akarmaka means what? So akarmakebhya. So this sutra is split into two. Can you see this? So this please. The sutra I had given you with examples previous, I think last class's slides. Yes, just look at this. No, I had divided into 1 and 2. One is, so laha, kartari, karmani, sakarmakebhya, transitive, just see. So
this is the one, this is the first example and this is the second example.
Yes. So the previous one tells you that laha, kartari, karmani, kartari, sakarmakebhya. Look at this word sakarmaka. Panini has used the word sakarmaka and akarmaka. What does it mean? We translate into transitive and intransitive today. We know transitive, intransitive very well through English. But we do not, what in our languages we use sakarmaka, akarmaka, karta, karma, bhava. But we don't know what does it mean. So why I am telling this, one of the scholar, a linguist, he told me, sakarma, this transitive, intransitive only is translated into sakarmaka and akarmaka. The concept of active, passive is borrowed from English to our languages. But look at this, the first division of verbal endings into sakarmaka, the roots into sakarmaka and akarmaka means transitive and intransitive. To explain the verbal forms, to see the use of the forms, when verbs are used, in what sense. So first, this is the speciality of Panini to indicate the language begins with a sentence which represents always in three senses, that is kartari, karmani and bhava, active, passive and stative. These are the three ways the sentences are basically used. Those sentences, one, it can be used in active or passive or in stative. So these are the basic three divisions of sentence. You can see that how sentence meaning was first explained in terms of kartari, karmani and bhava. The prayoga. Prayoga is kartari, active. And from that we get kartruvachya, karamavachya in our languages. So the division of sentence into kartari, karmani and bhava and the verbs into transitive and intransitive was first started, conceived by Panini in 5th century BC. This is the only sutra which tells. So after this, what is the need of defining a sentence? So sometimes question is asked, why Panini has not defined sentence? This sentence meaning is explained. When you say kartari means it is only sentence only active, no? It is the sentence meaning only. It is not the meaning of any word. So this karta, karma and bhava are the three meanings of a sentence explained by him in this sutra. And in addition to that, this active kartari, karmani, bhava, how do we get it in the sentence? Now according to the verb. If verb is a transitive, you get active and passive. If it is intransitive, you get active and stative. So these are the basic difference that are basic concept of language. So whenever we use language, where do you start? How do you change the forms? We do not do anything of our own. It is all the process, it goes on. So if you see this Ramaha Gramam Gachadi, Ram is going, and if it is Karmani, that is passive, you get that the village is gone by Ram. Ramena Gramaha Gamyate. Ramena Gramaha. Separate. So Ramena, so Ram Karta become Trutiya. It is the first difference made in the Sanskrit language, and it is all following the rule of Panini. Next, the second is you are seeing that there. Next, please. So next part is saying that Karmani, Ramaha Sete, sits, active, and Ramena Asyate, seated by. So these are the forms available. With root, whenever root we are using is transitive or intransitive. So you get this sentence types only this.
Static, not static.
Static. So the idea is this, that the sentence meanings are only active, present and karmani, what do you call the passive. Whatever we know today in English, we are only explaining. We do not know our own language. The words we use in our grammars, sakarmaka, akarmaka, karta, karma, etc. are all Paninian origin. The Panini has formulated and explained them, defined them and described them in the sutra to tell you that all the forms we are using in our languages are originated or explained grammatically, logically by Panini. Why we say? Because all the terminology of the Panini's grammar, the sutras, karta, karma, bhava, then you have kartruvachya, karmavachya, sabda, all these things used first and defined by him in his Astadhyayi, for which all our Indian languages are using the terms. And if you see all the grammars in our languages, they have their contents only this. Sanya, Sandhi, Samasa, Karaka, and you have Kartruvachya, Karmavachya. All these terminologies are explained by Panini in the sutra form. And in when Nothing was there. That is only in the 1st and 5th century BC. So this is what I am telling, because we have an impression, the modern education, we have an impression that we have got everything, all the grammatical things we have got from English. But English is 15th century, but the terms were explained and long before. That is how language to be analyzed. Why it is called model? Because it first time it gives the division of sentence meanings into active, passive and things. And that also again, not just like that, they come through the verb, transitive or interest, akarmaka and akarmakebhya. So the sutra tells you that from this we get two types of sentences. Next please. So this is what the first law. So that is why he has taken it to the law. Law is a technical term used by Panini only to indicate the meaning of these sentences. They represent only the syntactic pattern, that is karta, karma and bhava. Now when you are using the action, how you are going to use it? So that is why lakara are further defined in terms of, that's why they are divided. Whenever you are using a sentence, it should be either active, passive or any of the three, not all three at a time. But even then when you are using, so you can use the same active or passive in different times, at different times. So that is why the division of law represents the division of times, dasalakaras. So just show this, next please. See, this is what I'm trying to show, that ancient Indian tradition. Look at this, where the language starts. What is the language? We know we have something. What we know, we try to communicate. When we communicate, how do we communicate? The output is only the sounds, the utterance, ucharita sabda. Only when sound is uttered, we are able to understand what one wants to communicate. What is to be communicated? And what is that communication? Unless we have a link between the two, the sound, what we call the sound or meaning in linguistics, we have here for our tradition. The accepted language is nothing but an atom of sound, atom. The word sphota is used by Bhartrihari and Patanjali, not by Panini. Sphota is given. This is the Indian philosophy of grammar. The sphota concept, that what is there in an atom form. We don't know how much is there, how many are there. We do not know how much we know, but still we say we can tell. So this is the idea of the atom, the sphota. This concept is given by Patanjali, but explained by Bhartrihari in his Vakyapadiya. So Vakyapadiya is written in 6th century AD. Patanjali wrote in the Mahabhashya, only he has used one word, sphota. This Sutra 1155 should go to the previous one. I will tell them. This Bhartrihari, who lived in 6th century AD, is supposed to have written a commentary called Dipika on Mahabhashya. In his Mahabhashya commentary, that is Dipika, he has used this sentence, Sphotaha Sabdaha. Whatever Sabda we talk about, whatever Artha we know, it is Sabdartha. This Sabda, which is called Sphota, is there always in our mind. So there is a sphota or a mental level. We have the semantic unit, whatever you call, or the whole infinity is a sabda. Now, dhvani hi tasya. So there is also dhvani. Dhvani, what is actually ucharita sabda dhvani. When it is uttered, it is called dhvani. Okay. Now, how the dhvani comes? Now, it is tasya vyayamat. Whatever meaning is there, when it is going to be used, Vyayama here generally we mean exercise. But yeah, Vyayama means what is used, extended. What is, so this is the how the word Vyayama is written here. Vyayama means when we use that meaning through particular sounds, that is called sabda. So sphota and dhvani. Dhvani also sometimes called nada. It is there in Bhartrihari explains all this. Sphota and nada also. So there is a first two levels of understanding. Grammar must know how to write a rule. This is the rule of the language. A language is not just what is spoken. Language is what is also understood. We also understand language. Before we speak, we have the language or not. What is that language? So that language, which is very much ingrained or inherited, what is there in a very systematic way, or in the form of an atom, we call it spota, is name given. That was sputati prakasa. It is manifested. The sound, what is inside. So for us, we will go to the tree. The tree, if you look at this, the first, yes. So spota remains. It is the energy, it is the sound, that is an atom, which remains abstract all the times, everywhere. But this spota is understood or realized in the name of Sabdartha Vatu. So here we have put in Sabdartha because we don't have Sabda without Artha. Look at this. Our meaning, word sound meaning or word meanings are not separated. Word meanings are invariably associated. This is called Nitya Sambandha. So though in Greek philosophy, it was first Aristotle, Plato wanted to explain what is the relation between sound and meaning. So there was no answer, there was no clarity, there was no completion, that it was indirect. But in our tradition, the word meaning relation, the sound meaning relation is invariable. That means Nitya, they cannot be separated. So that's why that whatever we know, it exists in the form of Sabdartha. So in poetics, in Alankara, it is Vakya is defined as Kabya, is defined as Sabdartha Kabya. Sabda and Artha. So always dual. Sabdartha Kabya. So what is one in the form of spota is understood or realized in terms of Sabda and Artha, as we know. It has no division, but we divide, we understand them in terms of word meaning or Sabdartha. And how this Sabdartha is communicated? This Sabdartha is first we can use in a sentence. So on first sentence is important for us. Because in sentence only, you are able to use the word. A single word cannot be used. So word does not exist independently for us. Word meaning is coming, what he calls the grammatical meaning, it is only coming through the grammar or the sentence. Look at this. So when you say kartari or karmani, when they are used, so unless you know it is kartari or karmani, you cannot use a word. See, we have whether you should say Rama Gachati or Ramayana Gachati. When you do this, only when you are going to explain or to communicate that, it should be in active or passive. Unless we know active and passive, the words cannot be used. Once we know that, then comes to the form what we are using. It comes in the of Subanta and Tinganta or Pratipadika and Dhatu. The label comes down. And then these Subanta or Tinganta suffixes are added. So inflectional suffixes are added only at this stage. So this is the order, or you can see this. So first we have spota, then which represent or which is understood in terms of Sabdartha, and Sabdartha comes only through sentence, either in active, passive or stative. Then the word starts split into Pratipadika and Dhatu, or noun and verb. They come only when we are sure what meaning we are going to convey. So first sentence meaning, then after sentence we decide that this is this. Then comes to the which word we are going to use and how. So that is why, see, look at this law which is used in the sense of karta karman bhava. Same law is divided into 10 divisions, no? According to type. Look at this. We have Pratipadika and Dhatu, or what we know noun and verb. And for Pratipadika, we take soup directly. Look at this. Whereas for Dhatu, we do not use thing directly. In between, there is law. First law. Whenever any verbal form is used, conjugation, that is Tinganta, No thing suffix can be used directly to the root. Why? In soup, it is direct. Ramaha. Noun plus soup, directly. But in verb, we don't have the directly. Can you tell why? See, here is the division, here is the device. That is, he doesn't use directly. He gives in one another stage in between, one more step, which is not used in language, but it is conveyed only through the suffixes, but the suffixes are not used directly. Thing suffixes are not used directly with the dhatu. So whenever we derive a verbal form or conjugate, so verbal conjugation starts with the first step law. Without law, you cannot use any suffix. Look at this system. Look at the mechanism. Look at the analysis, the logicality. Why you need one more step? If you are not using directly, why law? So law represents, law basically used in the sense of kartari karmani bhavana. Then why you are bringing here? So here, if you look at this, the verbal suffixes we had seen, they are used in 3 persons and 3 numbers. Karta, sorry, Prathama, Madhyama, Uttama, Ekvachana, Dvivachana, Bahuvachana. 3 persons in 3 numbers. That's why you get thing. 9 plus 9. Why 9 plus 9? Because 9 is Kartari and 9 is Karmani. So these divisions are there only for person and number. T means what? First person singular. But where do you get Kartari? Where do you get active? How do you get present? So tense and are the time and the sentence meaning are not the property of thing. They are the property of the sentence. Because what you are going to use and how, it depends upon the speaker's mind. So first you have a decision. First you decide in the mind. I gave you this sloka yesterday about theory. Vitarkita pura buddhya. First you think what you want to communicate. Then you fix in a particular meaning, whether in active or passive. Then you utter the sounds. Karanena dhvanina. Yesterday I gave that sloka. Just see sometimes. See this description given by Bhartrihari to explain what Panini means love, how we mean sentence and what relationship. So first there is something. First we decide, we discuss, distinguish, analyze, then only we communicate through sounds. So sounds are not produced arbitrarily. Anytime, any sound we don't use. They are produced only when the meaning is fixed. Once you decide, I want to communicate this, then your sounds are produced according to the meaning. So there is a continuity, there is a logicality, there is a process. This is called prakriya. A word does not come just like that. A sound does not come just like that. Anything that we utter, whether it is sound or word, whatever we say, these are all processed in the mind. There is stages. It is not abrupt. Immediately it comes out. Not like that. Everything is in a process. Step by step. Change takes place inside. Only when we utter, we come to know what is this word. From where it came, we do not know. But whatever we use, it is coming through a process. So this is called prakriya. So at this stage, if you look at this, then how this active or passive meanings to come to the T. So la has the meaning of active passive. T has the meaning of person number. But there is a connection, only active. Karta karma can be only an object, no? Only person, name. So how links should be made? How they are to be linked? How they are to be connected? So this is the medium. Through the law, so verb, every verb is used with a suffix in the sense of kartari or karmani. So So to get that meaning, so verb first stands for the sentence meaning. So la represent karta karma bhava, as you have this laha karmani bhavecha. The sutra brought here also can be shown that. But then this thing is used in the place of law. Here you see this. So that's why sutra is lasya. We had seen one word sutra. Lasya means Sashti Vibhakti is used. Deepa, that sutra, please show that. Sthanivat Adesha Analabhidau. So there is a sutra, Paribhasa Sutra. Can you just show it? Sthanivat Adesha. So whenever Adesha takes place. So this Lasya means Lasya Adesha. So thing is always represented as Ladesha. We have shown you in the first slide. Ladesha means Lasya Adesha. They are the substitute of law. So thing suffixes are not used directly to the root. They are used only through law. So once they are used in the place of law, they carry the meaning of law also. So there is a device by Panini, special sutra, Sthanivat Adesha Anal Vidhau, 1156. Can you just show it? Yes. This is the sutra. What he says? Sthanivat Adesha. Adesha means all the substitutes. Whenever we are substituting one for the other, they are sthanivat. Sthanivat means they take the power or the function of sthani. Sthani means the occupant for which it is replaced. If is x replaced by y, so y also takes the function of x. So substitutes are not just meaningless or functionless. Substitutes are only positional changes or variants. So these substitutes are always represent, or they represent the meaning of the sthani or the occupant for which it is substituted. So in that, and it is restricted to all vidhi. In all vidhi, here all means all or any sound, phonetics. Any sound substitute takes place. We have so many sound. O becomes A becomes A in many places. Whatever change takes place between sounds, substitution, there is no carry of the meaning. There is no power. They do not carry the same power. In all vidhi. All vidhi means the sound systems. Whenever sound change takes place, when a sound is replaced by another sound, there is no power continuing. It is only with words and meanings and the pratyas, prakritis and pratyas. Whenever they are substituted, the substitutes, the adeshas, they represent like, or they are sthani, but like the sthani means they carry the function of sthani or the occupant. So in the same way, same rule applies here, lasya, because it is whenever sthani is indicated, substitute, they are always used in Sashti Vibhakti. We had seen in the first sutra, ikaha yanati means ikasthane, yanadesha. Similarly, lasya means lasthane. So in the place of law, yeah, please go back to the tree. So in the place of law, the tip suffix is added. So second stage. So first, if it is active, you get kartari, lasya, tivadaya. So that's why they are called ladeshas. So var plus thing. So var first, la first, then la is replaced by thing, you get, and in kartari, we get the parasmay padam. That is ti. Ti is parasmay padam. If it is karmani, it is te, it is atmane padam. So bhava karmano atmane padam. So the suffixes, the 18 suffixes which are used, thing, the first set 9 is used for kartari. That is called parasmay padam. That's why the suffixes are divided like a parasmay padam and atmane padam to make the difference between active and passive. So active suffixes, thing, first 9, they are called parasmay padam, and the second group is called tang because starts with to, atang, tho, tha, sa, tag, no, eat, bahing, mahing. Tang is actually atmane pada, which represent bhava and karma both. So in that way, so that what it means, so all the thing suffixes are the substitutes of law. That is the common criteria. So all the roots, when they are conjugated in all the tenses, the first stage will be law. After lot, lit, lut, etc., whatever lakara you want to indicate. So all the lakaras are also used sense of karmani, kartari. So since the law is divided into, so whatever first instead of law, then if you divide, you first you bring lut, lit one by one. So the law only begins. The second level, this law stage is common to all the roots in all the lakaras. That's why lakara is given commonly, lut, lit, lut. Unless you take law, you cannot use it in any tense. So the division of here is the division. That is what we mean the sentence meanings are conveyed through the only. That is why kriya pradhana vakya. For us, kriya is important. Why? Now, kriya represents the sentence meaning. If you say gachati, you know it is active. If it is gamyate, you will say it is passive. So Atmanasapi distinguishes, it is only in Sanskrit, the ti te is used distinctively to make difference because we have 18 suffixes. It is not so in our, we change the word. So when we active passive, we add some more words. But in Sanskrit, only suffix is enough. That is inflectional. You don't need extra words. That's why when say gachati or gabyate represent active or passive, that is sentence meaning is given directly. What is the need to describe the sentence again? So there is no need to give a definition of sentence. Once it is described in terms of law, in kartari and karmani, so directly you get the meaning, the gachati or gamyate, whether it is active or passive, only the suffix will indicate everything. So this is first the speciality, or the, you can see the what is structurality, what is logical, what is scientific, how a grammar is written, how much steps you have to take. Either you directly or you have to go to the root where it begins. How many stages it is complete. Otherwise anybody can use anywhere, no? So thing is that the way the sentence is analyzed, the way the language is represented, the medium we communicate. You may use different languages, but the system remains that karta, karma, and bhava, these are the very common and static meanings, main meanings for any language. And when it is used through only verbal suffix, because our inflectional suffix takes care of everything. That's why ti represent first person, singular, present, and active. 4 meanings. And these are called the syncretic morphemes. Morphemes which represent more than one meaning. So all our verbal endings, even in Indian language, we have person, number, gender in some languages. So that represent this is syncretic nature of that all the meanings have been clubbed within one suffix. This was done actually. So how it is, again with this law is, that is why lakara is something special to Panini, and it is the inevitable relationship to explain the structure of the language, to justify the meaning and sound relationship. You need different stages. That is called prakriya. How different stages? So you have spota, you have sabdartha, then we come to lakara, we get in the sentence form, right? The sentence is further divided into these two then. Now, what is speciality? Once you get this thing only, whether it is kartari or karmani, then only the noun can be changed. The suffixes used for the noun, that is subantas, cannot be used without the verb. Look at this. We cannot use soup first in any sentence, in a sentence, because it is not our choice. Look at this. Whenever a word is changing, a noun is changing, noun does not change according to our choice. It is the choice of the verb only. So these vibhaktis which are used, they are used according to the relation to the dhatu, the verb. It is verbal relation. And these are called karakas. We are going to see sometimes. The noun verb relation is karaka. That is abstract. And these relations are 6. That's why karta, karma, karana, these are all fixed by Panini. The maximum relations between noun and verb can be 6. And they are defined as karta, karma, karana, karaka, etc. Adhikarana, sampradana, apadana. These 6. So he has first shown the relations between noun and verb are not independent. They are again dependent. And verb, the noun is dependent on verb. The noun form, whether it should be prathama, ditya, tritiya, vibhakti, it depends upon with verb it is used. Because verb tells you whether it should be, whether it is as a karta or karma. It depends upon the verb, no? Verb is transitive. Why we say? If it transitive, if there is an object, we call sakarmaka. If there is an object with the verb, then we say Ramaha gramam gacchati. If simply sleeps, there is no object, it is intransitive. So it is akarmaka. So the relations, the sentence structure, how many nouns you can use in a sentence is not decided by us. It is decided by the verb. Remember. The kriya is important. Kriya pradhana vakyam, we traditionally known, but Panini does not say this, but Katyayana in his Vartika, before Patanjali, he has said, Eka thing vakyam. Even a thing, he first gives the definition of vakyam as, because somebody wonder why he has not defined Panini. You don't need, if you know Eka thing, if you know about thing, so sentence definition is not necessary. So that is what Katyayana told. Then Patanjali explained that. So ekating vakyam means thing in one kriya will tell about the structure of the sentence, the design of the sentence. How many words you will take, it is not your choice. This is why it is called also in tradition, kriya noi karakam. Karakam means what is related to the verb only. So all the nouns used in a sentence, nouns or pronouns or adjectives, all one category pratipadika. The pratipadika takes the form, takes the suffix only based or decided by the verb only. So the relationship between noun and verb is so much that noun cannot take a form unless the verb, nature of the verb is known. If it is transitive, you can take two nouns, Ramaha gramam gacchati. If it is intransitive, only karta. There is no object. A sentence form is decided by, so that is called, now in linguistics they call it government and binding. What is government and binding? It is all there in our character relations. The dhatu and the noun, the verb and the noun are so much related. The nominal form, the 7 vibhaktis you are going to take, it is not according to our choice. It is based on the dhatu only. That's why verb is so important for us, kriya pradhana, because once you know the verbal form, you know how many sentences you are going to produce and how many sentences you can generate. It is all with the thing. But, and this is also the language when you are using, what is you see this language structure or the form. So how many labels we have? So one at the top, something that we do not know, beyond our perception, beyond our knowledge, but we could realize, understand only in terms of sabdartha. Unless there is sabdartha, we do not know. So that is the only get where we know only from this sabdartha. We do not know what is pota. But sabdartha comes from somewhere, from there. So for everything there is a source. And the sabdartha gives whenever, how it comes? In the form of sentence. It is only used in sentence. And the sentence gives to forms. So the forms, noun or verb, thing or sup, they are coming only based on the sentence meaning. So these 4 labels, if you know, you have heard Indian tradition, grammatical tradition is established 4 levels of speech. The speech is known or is uttered only through 4 stages. So this is called para, which we do not know, the level spota, which is beyond our perception. And as we know, within our perception is Sabdartha, Pashyanti, para Pashyanti. Then how it is starting, analysis begins with sentence, that is Madhyama. And what we utter in the form of noun and verb, it is Vaikhari. Para, Pashyanti, Madhyama, Vaikhari. When we utter a sentence, when we speak the language, it is not just coming like that directly. All are processed. It's a prakriya. They start with one point. So there is abstract. There is a language which is very abstract, which is realized through, we can know only through sound and meaning or sabdartha, and which is used always in a sentence only, then we know this is sabda, this is artha. When it is used only, we come to know. Anything that we know. I think in the beginning I had given you one verse also, Bhakyapadya said, Na so vasti pratyaya loke. There is no identity of that object unless it is named or say uttered with a sound. Unless a sound, what we call sabda, is related with artha, we cannot understand anything. So nothing is identified in this world without relating to a sound or a sabda. Why? Because he says, Anubiddham iva jnanam. The knowledge is something that is always invariably associated, sabdartha. If you have an object, if you know anything, unless we know the sound or word for it, we are not able to communicate. So sabdartha sambandha is so nitya, eternal. Anubiddham eva jnanam sarvam sabdena bhashate. Everything is manifested, everything is known, reflected. Whatever we speak, it reflects what we have in our mind. Unless we speak, we do not know what you want to communicate. So long you are not speaking, you are safe and you are very clever. The moment you utter a word, others will find out, oh, this is wrong. Maybe grammatical wrong or semantically wrong or syntax. So there is always debate starts only when you utter a sound. If you speak, the problem starts. If you don't speak, you are a good person. So knowledge is something. That is what levels. These are the 4 levels. But anyway, we are going to again further. I am just hinting that how language structure, how semantics, spota is necessary, important to explain the process for language communication. We are using pratyaya, suffix, etc. for Sanskrit in a active, passive. But these are all there in every language. Without pratyayas, without active passive, sentence structure, sentence meaning, word meanings are not possible. So language is a system. It is inbuilt in such a way that Panini gives a model. It is just a model. You don't say what he says 100%. You have to verify, try whether if you read the short history of linguistics by R.H. Robbins, please read it. R.H. Robbins, short history of linguistics, there you will see that how he has emphasized the discovery of knowledge by Indian tradition, by Indian grammatical tradition, starting from Panini, Patanjali and Bhartrihari, what they have done. Why they did like that? Even today, which is advanced, which is logical, which is scientific. So our system is so much inbuilt and logically explained by Panini, Patanjali and Bhartrihari, giving the details. So if you read Vakyapadya, it is 2000 verses, shloka, talks about Vakya and Pada. Can you get such a literature in anywhere in the world? To explain Vakya and Pada, he has written 2000 verses to explain what language means to us. What Panini gave in the form of sutra, he has explained in terms of shlokas, 2000 shlokas in Vakya Padya, in 3 parts, Vakya and Pada only. This tradition has tried to explain things, not that Panini wrote sutra and left it. It has been explained from time to time. That tradition continued to defend that what is said in the sutra, how far it is meaningful, how far they are logical, why we are not able to change. In spite of a lot of struggle now to analyze linguistically to find out, still, unless we go to the root, unless we read the text, we do not know what is the truth, why it is not changing, why we are not able to change the word even one matra in a sutra. So this is the lakara has something to be, very much understood very clearly. Then all other things is follow action. All others are sound changes, morphological changes. Syntax remain constant. The system, the rule remains constant. Karmani bhavecha. And lasya, see the methodology he has developed in the place of. This Thanimat Bhava is a specific new invention only by Panini. Because whatever you give, we cannot just take like that. Unless you have the same function, it cannot be replaced. Okay? So next, please. So this is imagine, these are all inflectional suffixes, verbal inflections. And this is what is used by Bhartrihari. Spotaha sabda. Whatever.
So that's all I have.
Yeah, okay. I will explain that. Now, I think we had given earlier how this thing, can you just see the previous one? Little, yeah. Yes, these are the suffixes, ta, atang, cha. The division, if you see these verbal endings into parasmay pada, atman pada. So people ask why there are 2 things, parasmay pada and atman pada only in Sanskrit. Because Sanskrit being unambiguous, trying to explain every meaning with different forms, with different suffixes. So verbal suffixes has been used both active and passive to make a distinction between that. And it is used in the language. Panini has only classified and shown that first group is known as Parasmaya, second group is Atmanapada. Just so that second group, next. Tang, see, starting with the, ending with the. Same 18 thing suffixes are used in 2 ways. One is Parasmaya, that is always active, and Atmanapada for the passive. So this is the basic difference in Sanskrit, because everything is explained or said, communicated through a different form. So the suffixes, 18 suffixes are maximum basic morphemes for the verbal roots, for 2000 roots. And these basic morphemes undergo change according to the division of time, dasalakara. Just like you got 10 forms, 10 changes, like that all the 18 forms will take 10 forms each, you will get 180 allomorphs. 18 morphemes, but 180 allomorphs. They are the only variations of those 18. That relation is again. Though 18 suffixes are called the basic morphemes, they undergo change according to the lakaras. So that's why these dasalakaras are distinguished by the change in the suffixes and the roots. So in case of bhavati, then you get a babhuva, then you get abhavat, you get a bhavita. So the change is root and the suffix. They undergo change according to the change of time. So 10 lakaras represent 10 division of times. This is reflected with the root and suffix when they undergo change. So suffixes are fixed, that is 18, because 3% in 3 numbers. When they are used in 10 times, you get 180 forms. So that's why each lakara is distinguished from other lakara only by form, so that meaning difference can be seen easily. If it is bhavati, it is present. If it is babhuva, it is paroksha. That is lit lakara. So the forms, and there is no other form other than 180 nor less than 180. You get a verbal form, verbal ending. The allomorphs are fixed. This is morpheme. Basic morpheme are 18. They are original. And they undergo change according to the lakara. Now, how he has taken to, atam, jo, why? Actually, we get te, no? What do you call that? Gamyate, kriyate. But suffix is actually ta. Why you take to as the suffix, but te is used, no? So whenever you talk about morpheme and allomorphs, we know that the allomorphs are only variations, positional variations. They are not original. They change, but original morpheme remains. And how do you know it remains? Because these original suffixes are present in some other form. So that is why the lakaras are distinguished between tit lakara and git lakara. Ta, lat, lit, lung, then you get long, ling, lung. So because titi, in the tit lakara, you get this, ta becomes a, te. So there is a sutra, titaha, atmane padanam, tehe, e. So tit lakara, atmane pada, tit lakara, the ta suffix becomes te. Why you say this? Because in the git lakara, the ta remains. You get oidhata. So ta remains in the git lakara. That is why whether originally ta or te. So the suffixes are also very much scanned by him. And then he has decided what is the basic morphemes. Like soup, thing also are the basic morphemes for the verbal roots. So these are the verbal suffixes which are used in one sutra. That thing sutra is there, in which, so the next sutra only divides to tang atman. So out of the 18, the last nine, that is tatunga, tang anau atmanepadam. Another suffix is the ana that we will be doing some later. But first tang means atmanepadam. So the division of the suffixes and the establishment of the basic morphemes, that is thing, and how they undergo change 10 times. All the morphological combinations take place. All the Sandhi rules are applied. All the Sandhi rules which you have read, I'll show you sometime tomorrow that what rules are used for getting a form. What kind of Sandhi rules? Because it is Prakriti and Pratyaya, root and suffix. When the root and suffix are joined together, you get one form. And what are the changes that take place is again given how many rules are required for getting one word. So whether it is Bhavati or Babhuva, how many rules you need. So every word used in Sanskrit, or say, it is a proof, it is a model that to show that whenever we are using a word in a language, these are not just coming directly, just abruptly, but they are coming through a process. That's why you call derivation. That's why you call conjugation. Doesn't mean they just come, you take it. They are coming processed in a particular order. We will show the rules. I will show you tomorrow how rules are used to get one form Bhavati, to get one form Babhuva. Because today we should know that what is the role of thing in verbal conjugation. How 2000 roots with 180 forms are controlled by one word lasya. If law is not, the law does not change. So this law, we call it time from kala short form, or this law also, we can, accidentally, we can say law of the language, that only active, passive, and stative meanings are more important, constant. They only yield forms. Forms are derived through that only, not directly. So that's why for us, sentence is first, Vakya Pradhanam. And in the Vakya, Kriya Pradhanam. All other things are only rotated. on the basis of these two only. Unless we know the relation between the two, you cannot use a word in a sentence. It is self-controlled, self-governed. It is inbuilt. The system is inbuilt. It is inherited. It is Buddhista. Note this. This is not borrowed from anybody. It is not collected from somewhere. It is Indian tradition establishes, emphasizes, it is inbuilt. It is there all, everything with you. But you do not know about what you know. You do not know. If you read grammar, you will know what power you have, what language you know, how much you know. So we don't know our own language. We don't read. We don't understand. We simply translate or do things. So this is what we should know, that what language structure, what is grammar, and what kind of grammar we have inherited. Why Panini is important? Not because he wrote Sanskrit or he read Sanskrit. It is his methodology. See the coding, the words he is using. See the vibhakti, the way it is using. See the tagging, these anubandhas he is using. That also to be seen, that how he is able to manipulate or say manage the such a vast thing, language which is so vast, infinite for us, but he gives you only finite sets of rules. Whole infinite he is bringing under Sabda. So this is the idea, that how language is structured and how grammar is the rules of the language. It is not the rules of Panini or rules of mind. It is the rules of language. Language has its own rules. Panini has only demonstrated and described and observed. So the adequacy is observation adequacy. So you can find out that how far he is capable of describing it adequately and also explaining. So if you want to understand Laha Karmani Bhava, you need Lasya. Then only you can use Tip. So it is self-explanatory. The sutras are arranged in such a way that an order, so that each sutra gives the meaning of the other. So that it becomes self-explanatory. That's why he did not write any commentary. He did not give any explanation, only sutras. But for us, those who are very beginners, not only for us, even during Katyayana only change came, he wanted to, because it was understood by the great scholars, all the Mimamsaka Nayayikas of his time, they followed Panini only. The idea is that how it is Laghuartham and Asandeyartham. Two objectives are common to all language analysis. It should be short as well as unambiguous. So all the sutras he has formed, so far we have seen, whether it is Sandhi, whether it is this Tinganta, Subandha, look at this, how the way the words are coined. And the language he is using, the coding he is using to indicate or to explain the infinite. So that is the whole system of, that is thing, and the thing is only inflectional suffixes, and like soup also, is inflectional suffixes for nouns, but we have also derivational suffixes. With noun we have seen tadita, and for verb we will see krudanta, but is also derivational. So what is derivation again? Why are the derivation? So for that also he has given one sutra, krut ating. To understand krut means the primary derivative suffixes. They distinguish between primary and secondary. What is primary is krut suffixes for us. What is secondary is tadita for us. Secondary suffixes are used with noun to get another noun, like Dasaratha, Dasarathi. Whereas for this verb, we get verbal noun. The suffixes used for that are called krut suffixes. That's why the adhikaras, sup comes with pratipadika, and ting and krut are coming under dhatu only. So it is dhatu adhikara, these two suffixes are used. That means dhatu can take two types of suffixes. One is ting, another is krut. So ting represents the inflectional suffixes, and krut represents the derivational aspect, which we will see tomorrow, how a verb, how a noun is formed from the verb, and what kind of suffix. Okay, so this is how the difference we have to see. Now, what I will do that. Look at this, up to this. Any doubt, any question we'll take up and we'll try to clarify. See the system, the tree I have given you. If you have any doubt, anything, you can please ask that now. So we'll take time now to explain, clarify ourselves, any doubt you have. Yes, please. Yes. Any question related to the system, how it is? Yes.
Can you explain that para, pasyanti, madhyama and vaikri a little more?
See, these are the 4 levels of speech. How a speech, when we communicate, when sound is uttered, how it is coming. So it comes through process. So how many processes are there, or the levels, what we say? So Bhartrhari has explained that 3 levels. So one is para, means which is not known to us. But there is something, no? Infinity. What is infinity? How do you know? Because unless there is something, how do you get something? That should be something to get something, no? So infinity is almost like 0. Next photo is just like 0. So what is there in the universe or in the whole world is not known to us, but there are plenty. That's why it's called infinite. It can be of any type. But how do you know them? How you when do you understand? How do you understand them? What is there, what is not there? So this infinity, which is very much absent, or what you say, permanent, but invisible. What is invisible, we try to know it through visibles. That is philosophy, no? That is science. Science analyzes something to go to the root. From where it is coming, when it is coming, and how it is coming. In every science, they go to the root, no? To find out what is the cause of it. It is the cause only gives effect. We have the only effect, the outputs. We see the only changes. We talk language, you have fever, you have something. Anything we know, we are using or acquainted. For everything, there is a cause. We are speaking so many languages. Whether languages are many or one, it is always debated. Whether language is one or many. So for our tradition, it is one in many forms only. It changes according to the place and time, no? Changes take place in general, according to the place and time in any science. They have to see where it comes, when it comes. Then only they will go, oh, what is the cause or what is the reason. So the para is something that is beyond our perception, but it is there. Nature is there. Have you studied, have you know the nature? What is nature? We use the word nature. Prakriti we say, no? What is Prakriti? It is independent. It is permanent. It is there. But how it is there, how we are using it, how much you understand is a matter of that is what we are analyzing ourselves. Analysis is done to know what we know. What is invisible, we try to understand it, the nature of it, through the visible things that is used by us or known to us. So the infinity is always, that is the para, which is beyond our perception. But we realize this when we use certain things. See, you are getting water now, from where it is H2O. Where is H2O? Have you seen it? It is just like that. So there is a rule of the nature. But we try to understand that through this. If you take water, then divide, analyze, you go to chemistry, so they will do this work. For everything, there is invisible, and that through visible only we try to know what is invisible, from where it is coming. So many things, that is para, infinite, represents all sources. But when you see the numbers, where the numbers, how many numbers you have? If you look at the numbers, it starts with the 0 only, no? What is 0? It is the last we see the 0, but from where it is coming? So there is an infinity, there is numbers, it is a meaning. Numbers, sankhya, is infinity. You don't know how many sankhyas are there. But when we bring down, Sankhya is realized through numbers, no? Sankhya is known through numbers. Yes or no? What is the number? It represents a number. From infinity, you get some numbers. From the numbers, you find 0 to 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9 only. 0 to 9, how many numbers? Then from that, you get the rest of things, no? Whether it is 1, 0 or 0, 0 has a value or not, you will come to know when you apply them in different orders. Then your numbers varies. So numbers are many or one? So one, what is concept, the Sankhya, it comes in the form of numbers, and the numbers is further changed according to the, when you put them in order for your use. When it is used, it takes different forms. And you use them in different orders or order. If it's 1 to 12, if it's 2, 1, 21. If it's EAT, you get EAT. If it's TA, you get T. Anything we are using them in a particular order. This order only gives the meaning to us, understanding. We are seeing only the changes. We don't see the root from where it is coming. So language as such, the sound system, this whole knowledge is existing in the mind. Everything you see, everything you know, but analysis takes place here. You distinguish between right and wrong, good or bad, plus or minus. Anything we know, it is through distinction, Veda and Aveda. There is one, we make into 2 or 20 or 200. We split according to our purpose, usage, changes, according to the need. So cause remains one, but the effect becomes many. Through these many effects, we go to the cause. What is the reason? So language as such has the sound and meaning all in plain. Anything is there, it is a sound language. When it comes in the form of Sabdartha, we come to know only that, oh, this is language. Then how it is used? It is used in the sentence. Kartari, karmani. If then only you come to active or passive, then you come to whether it is a noun or verb, so subanta, tinganta, whether you call the nominal or the verbal. These divisions coming through a process, step by step. It is not just when you know things, you first distinguish whether it is right or wrong, whether this is X or this is Y. Then you come to show that they are used in the sense of as a subject and verb. Then you show that subjective means you have these personal markers. If it is verb, you have the tense markers. Finite verbs. We call finite. Why finite? Because that is final. You can add anything after that. So verb becomes the center through which all other sounds. There is a text called Karaka Chakra. A chakra, it is just like a cycle. You have a center verb. All other nouns used in the sentence are related to the verb directly or indirectly. We cannot add a word according to our choice. It is only verb that decides how many words you can use in a sentence. Because all are linked. All the sounds, all the words used in a sentence are linked one with the other. So that is why the 4 levels tells you para is infinite. Pashyanti, what we know at least, Sabda Artha. Then how they are used in a sentence form, from that we come to know. And then they are divided into, say, noun, verb, or karta, kriya, etc., the names we give. Then sound change takes place. If it is a subanta, if it is a akaranta, su becomes visarga. If it is akaranta, su becomes lopa. These are all changes takes place at the 4th level, ground level. The original is somewhere. The origin is somewhere. And this is very well described in Bhagavad Gita also. 15th chapter, 1st sloka, it says, Urdhva Moolam Adha Sakam. Our knowledge tree The root is at the top. And the branches are down only. Because knowledge is always at the top. That is why we get in linguistics, Chomsky is drawing the trees, no? It starts with S, brings down now. But before S, we have meaning. Ours is one more, 2 steps before. That is Porter, then Sabdartha, then what we L means, the syntactic sentence. Because Karta Karma is the meaning of the sentence. So that is the level. If you look at this, why divisions are made like that, it shows the nature of language, how it is produced, generated. That's why generation. Because with finite set, with one lasya, with one laha karmani bhavecha, all sentences used in a language can be very well explained, can be generated. That's why we say, yes, I know the language. Okay? Yes? We have to think, just go through. Whenever you have doubt, you can come back again also. This is how the system is explained by the tradition, in Paninian tradition. And why Panini, Patanjali, Bhartrhari continued to explain more in detail that what language means. Yes. Yes, Deepa.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
This is Bhaskar.
Bhaskar, yeah.
Yeah, we have discussed about Kartari Karmani. We have looked at Sakarmaka, Karmaka Kriyas also.
Yes, yes.
This is quite clear and common in most languages.
Yes.
Can you explain the functional role of Parasmaipadi and Atmanepadi?
Yes. So, see, when we say Kartari and Karmani, now how do you know them? So, there are markers, no? Okay. Whatever meanings are conveyed, because it should be unambiguous. So, the markers are there. What is this marker? That's why 2 sets of suffixes are given. The thing suffixes are 18. The first set is Tiptasji, Sipthasta, Bibasmas, 9. The second set is To Atangjo, Thas Atangjo, Eat Bohing Mahing. 2 sets are given. That means the first set is called Parasmay Pada. It is used Kartari in active sense. So Gachati, it is active. And when you are using the second set, Ta Atangja, you get Gamyate. Same dhatu, same person, same langara. In act passive, you get Gamyate pratyaya is coming, that is Atmanepada. Te is Atmanepada, Ti is Parasmay. So it is called Kartari Parasmay Padam. Parasmay Pada suffixes are used in Kartari, means in the sense of agent. That's why Tiptasji, Sipthasta, Mibasmas, these 9 are Kartari agentive suffixes. And when you say Gamyate, and when passive sentence, the Karta takes Tritiya Vibhakti. Ramena Gramaha Gamyate. That I will explain when we come to Karaka, how Vibhaktis are used. So this is what here Gamyate. The karma becomes Prathama in Karmani Vachya, in Karma Vachya. So Ramena Gramaha Gamyate. Can you, Deepa, the sentence please show that? If you see the form of the sentence, Deepa, can you please see? So that
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah. Just look at the sentence. What is the change in the sentence structure and how the meanings are conveyed differently? You see the form changes. What is the change in the form? If you just look at this first rule we had given you, La Karmani Bhavecho, that the example I have given. Just see this example, it will be very more clear. Yeah, please. Look at this. This AB in the first sentence, Ramaha Gramam Gachati. So Rama is in soup, it is Prathama Vibhakti, Gramam in Ditya Vibhakti. So Ti is the Pratyaya, the meaning is Kartari, Ram is going, it is Kartari, active. What we call active, it is Kartari. Okay? Here, Rama is in Prathama, Gramam is in Ditya. If you see the second sentence, what is in Karmani or passive, here the Rama become Ramena. We just split Deepa, Ramena separate. Ramena means here it comes in Tritiya Vibhakti.
Okay, sir.
Grama becomes Prathama. the karma is expressed. Karma is emphasized. And this karma prathama, gramaha, goes with the verb te. So in the karmani pratyaya, sorry, in the karma vachya, what you call the passive, the verb goes with the karma. In the kartruvachya, the verb goes with the verbal suffix goes with karta. That's why it's called kartruvachya. Karta is avita, expressed. In kartruvachya, karta is expressed. Ti expresses karta. Okay? And in karmavachya, te expresses karma. How do you know expresses? Now, what is directly connected, it gets prathama. So, in first, karta is expressed, so ramaha. In second, karma is expressed, so you get gramaha. So, gramaha gamyate. So, whenever there is karmani prayoga, te pratyaya coming, and karma takes prathama. Vibhakti. And in the kartari, karta is expressed, so karta takes prathama. So, the form changes. So that's why two types of suffixes. The ti is parasmaipada, te is atmanepada. Easy to distinguish.
I understand that, sir. My question was, my question is not about active and passive.
This
not
is
about
kartari karma. No, parasmaipada, atmanepada.
Yeah, let me clarify my question.
Yeah.
When you are talking about gam dhatu, this is a sakarmaka dhatu.
Yes.
So we are now using this dhatu in both kartari and karmani forms. One is using the parasmay pada, the other is using atmane pada.
Yes.
My question is, what is the need to divide dhatus into atmane pada and parasmay pada? Dhatus are divided into atmane pada and parasmay pada.
No, not dhatus. It is pratyas. The pratyas are divided into parasmay pada, atmane pada. Dhatus are divided into sakarmaka, karmaka. See the relation object and subject. These are the relation between verb or root and the nouns. That you will see when you say governor. The karma, sakarmaka, akarmaka is the division of dhatu. Atmanepada, paraspada is division of pratyaya. Pratyaya only indicate the differences, whether it is karmani or kartari.
Yes, that is.
But karmani kartari is the property of verb. Root.
That is okay. I don't have a dispute on that. My question is very simple. When we use a dhatu, suppose we say we are using a dhatu, some dhatus cannot be used with
Karma.
atmane pada, some cannot be used with parasmay pada, pratyayas. Right? When we study dhatus, we study dhatus. For example, trai is a dhatu which can only be used as a bhadigana dhatu, which can only be used with atmane pade.
Which
It
one?
cannot be used with parasmayapadi pratyayas. Trai dhatu.
Traya.
Trai dhatu. Yeah.
Trai means?
To protect.
Okay, next slide, please. True dhatu. Tarati. No, it is part of ABCD.
Trai dhatu, sir.
I have taken the second
okay,
example.
okay.
Just see. Second example, see. Sete, Siddha, Aste. Sitting, it is Atmanepadi. Okay, why? Because it doesn't have parasmay pada. But that te is used kartari. So in sakarmaka dhatu, you get kartari and karmani. Where it is akarmaka dhatu, we get kartari and bhava. Two senses are used. Aste, asyate. This formation, these are the four types. Any root we are using, it can be sakarmaka or akarmaka. If it is sakarmaka, it will take the first two, what we showed you. And if it is akarmaka, we will get this way. So all the sentences used with these verbs, that is 2000 roots, he has shown that wherever you get this change, so the dhatu must be like this. Or if you know the dhatus, you can produce sentences only in this four way. That's why Atmanapada Bhava Karmana ho Atmanapadam. That's why the sutra gave you that there is a Bhava Karma. Only Bhava Karma, Atmanapada suffix is used, Akarmakebhya. And if it is Akarmaka, you can both use Karmani. That is why Parasmay Pada is reserved for Daha Parasmay Pada. Parasmay Pada is used for the Kartari and Karmani. Kartari, and Bhava and Karma is Atmanapada. That is why in Sanskrit that is used like that. That is used like that. Even Dhatu Dhatu Labhate, It is only Atmanapada. You don't have Parasmapada. So some are Ubhayapadi, Parasmapada, Atmanapada, and some are only Atmanapada.
Yes, my question is why? What is the functional role of dividing dhatus in that way? That is my question.
Because, suppose why do you use active passive? So now, in the language, see, speaker has the freedom. It is, they call it style. What is style? You can, same meaning is conveyed through two ways. Because language is so productive, but when you say it is productive, it must be logical, related to the meaning, related to certain rules. So when you say Rama gacchati, Ramena gamyate, both are right or wrong, are they one or two? So the question comes. So whenever we understand something, meaning remains same, but you get two forms. When you get two forms, why you need two forms? Even some to get three forms in other words also. So the changes in the forms is at the disposal or the choice of the speaker, whether you want to speak in active or in passive form. Because many places, if you find, though we say, some people claim that language doesn't need passive, but there are many sentences are used only in passive. You know, if you say in English, I cannot do. So in most of our languages, we use in Tritiya Vibhakti only. I think in Tamil also, Deepa is there. Ennal mudiyade. I cannot do this. It cannot be done by me. Ennal Tritiya. In Odia also we have Modwara. Modwara ekamo hebani. This work cannot be done by me. So there are certain expressions which are very popular and more communicative. They use passive forms. So active and passives are only two aspects of the same meaning. There are only two different forms. So sometimes form can have different, expressions, but meaning does not change. So active, passive in English also, they are described as style at the speaker's choice. He can use the language directly or indirectly depending upon the context. So many things which are used in passive, which is Tritiya Vibhakti, they represent, it is a stylistic expression. So it cannot be, I cannot say, I cannot do. In the other way, you will say that, oh, it cannot be done by me. So that gives a simple impressional differences, but not actually the meaning differences.
Right, sir,
Yeah.
thank you. I think let me clarify my question one more time.
Yes.
My question is not about active and passive. That is perfectly clear. My question is only about why dhatus cannot be used in one form. For example, let me ask the question another way. Why is not every dhatu allowed to be ubhayapati? Can you explain that?
See, when you say dhatu or say pratipadika, why you need dhatu and pratipadika? What is used in the language, that is our, what you call this, data. By basing on the data, we are trying to understand how the change has taken place. So the data are classified. Once you classify, then what do you find? How many ways they are used, in how many forms. So language is used by the people with the understanding of the correct meaning. To give the meaning correctly, they have used the language. We are not creating dhatu or pratipadika. We are not creating this pratyaya. These are used by the people. The grammarian only describes the language that is used and the way it is used. The differences among the forms. See, we have, why it comes to 18 suffixes only. There are 180 forms in a verb, in conjugational forms, used by the people. In 10 lakara, why we need lakara? So what is used only, we are trying to explain how to explain or the, bring the relation, coordination between what is not known and what is known. What is used by the people and how do they use, whether it is arbitrary or logical. Mind cannot be so illogical. So mind develops a system. It has a system like computer. That system only generate forms in due course. According to the place and time, it changes. So the changes are only taken care of. The changes are there in the language used by the people. in different places at different times, but the same language is explained with by the grammarian with a certain rules which shows that the changes that has come in the language are not arbitrary. They are processed through different stages, and these stages can be 1, 2, 3, 4 according to our understanding. So I am showing that in Indian tradition, this language processing, what we are going to see artificial intelligence, you will see computational linguistics, what they are doing today. They are trying to understand that what intelligence we have, what is intelligence, how, in what form. Grammar is only showing that that intelligence is used to distinguish the forms of the language according to the necessity or the need of the people, which shows that the changes in the word forms or the sentences are only coming through a particular stage or steps are followed. So that becomes a process or prakriya. So language is a system, is proved only by explaining the differences of forms into that the root is there from which they have come in different stages. So language is used by the people. Why paraspada? Why we need differences? Because the forms are differentiated, used by the people. So how to account for it? First you make paraspada apanapada. Then when they are used, then you have to go to karmani and karmani. Then you have to go to dhatu, sakarmaka, karmaka. These are only steps or the stages through which we can account for the differences seen in the language. So data is there with us. From visible to we are going to the invisible, from the known we are going to unknown. Grammar is not to tell you something you should follow, not necessarily, not at all. Panini is not prescriptive grammar, it is only descriptive. It describes what is used by the people. It only justifies how people use it. So the system is only, he is explaining that how a system is built up. A system is there through which the sounds have come down in different forms, whether you call kartari, whether you call karmani, whether it is tinganta, or subanta, or noun, or verb, nominal. Why the inflection and derivational? Why you make differences? Because the forms used in the language also reflect that some forms are final endings, that is the nouns or the verbs, and they are coming in the form of either with inflection or derivation. You can say, why that? You say the maker, no, if the singer is going, what is singer? Is it a noun or verb? Sing is the verb, but you are using singer. We are saying gayaka. How do they come? Why? When? So these forms, when used in the language, only we try to understand and analyze and to show that this is a different form from the verb. So verb is singing and singer is noun. We call it verbal noun. So these forms which are used only named after that. Technically, we are describing, explaining the changes that take place in the language and the rules followed in that. Grammar is only a model. It is not that grammar only tells you should do this. Because it is used, people have used, distinguished in distinct forms. That's why the markers. So we are only explaining. So that is why the division is not made by us. We are only naming it. Sakarmaka, akarmaka, you say transitive, intransitive, that's all. The system is there. The system is based on some coding. These are all technical terms used by the other linguists or grammarians to explain the changes in the language. Unless we take these, technical aspects, so language cannot be accepted because it is very natural and all words are ambiguous. So that is the idea that the division is not made by us. We are only explaining. The grammarians only or linguists, they are only explaining, describing the language changes, whether it is in word form or sentence structure. That is the idea. You have to understand this. Very good. We should know why these divisions, why you need so many, why you need subanta, why you need tinganta, why you need krudanta, why you need samasa. All these terms we are using, no? People do not know, but they are using. So we are trying to use or describe the language what is used by the people. So prayoga eva sarana, prayoganusaranaha vyakarana. Also linguist. Whatever he described, only when it is found to be used by the people and regularly not today or tomorrow. It has been used from time immemorial. It has been used by everybody. That is why you are able to get grammar. No, if one person says why you should follow, nobody follows one individual. No? So always the system is built. A system is there, which is reflected or which is found to be variant in different stages and different places. That is why we get different languages. Though we felt that everybody has active and passive, but still, why? Who borrowed from whom? Or it is natural. So that is why this is universality. Universal features are there of the language, which are not known. So different system is developed for the language or linguistics or grammar to explain how a language system, how language works. That is the only whole why linguistics analysis is going on. To explain the changes, wherever change takes place, they try to understand it. It is only an attempt to understand what is human mind is. So our system has started long back. That is why they have established the system and they have tried to describe it technically. That is why coding, the language what we know today in computer things, the same words are used for the computer. How computer is able to give you all the forms in all the variations that you will see in February. No, we have fixed the lectures. You will see that how these rules of Panini, computer is citing. Computer is citing for each form. That is also there. We have to see it is not only. So always know that there is a prayoga, there is a usage. Usage is important. Based on usage, we go to the root from where it comes, how it comes. So we do not change anything. We are only describing. We only naming. Why you say noun and verb? It is not used by the people. To write a grammar, to write a rule, you need to come down and minimum entities, that is noun and verb. Then you say all other things are made out of that, or derived or inflectional, whatever way it is changed. So every grammar or every linguistic terms are technical because to explain many, you need one. Always you have to come down to show that unless you go to the root, we cannot explain the variations. So the variations only take us to the root. From root, we do not come to variation. Only we explain them. If this is the root, these are the changes taking place at these stages. Okay? Yes? Think it, read it. That is why language. So we are coming. So grammar comes from the root. So these changes. So that is why linguistics starts with the changes, starts from sound, go to meaning. Why? Because there are so many variations. How to go to the root? So in Sanskrit, it has been easy for them, for the grammarians, to fix the root or fix the meaning, and from where the changes can be shown in this manner. So it is just it is a model, no? This is just a model. That is what Bloomfield said. See what grammar means, what rules means, how a rule is formed. Panini has only shown that how to make a rule, what type of rule can help us to explain what we know actually. Okay? Yes?
सर मैं कुछ बताऊं?
Yeah, please, बताइए ना.
सर उनका जहाँ तक मेरे को क्वेश्चन समझ में आया तो वो पूछ रहे थे कि हर धातु उभयपदी क्यों नहीं होती है. तो सर जहाँ तक मुझे पता है तो किसी भी क्रिया का फल अगर कर्ता को मिल रहा है तो वहाँ पर आत्मनेपद होगा, और अगर कर्ता को नहीं मिल रहा है उस क्रिया का फल तो वहाँ पर परस्मयी पद होता है. जैसे
सुनिए.
जी सर.
हाँ,
सर ये सही है ना सर? ये सर सही है.
देखो, नहीं मैं बताता हूँ. ये देखिए, there is a separate section called Atmanepada section. Parasmaya, what happens? Though this is what we are giving, I told you always, these are the micro level, and this is the first, the micro level analysis of the language. But there are variations in different language at different times. The Parasmaya and Atmanepada are described in terms of Kartari and Karmani. Okay? But there are exceptions which are dealt in the Parasmaya. There is a separate section, 1-3 section, where you will get variations. What happens? I will give you one example. So whatever we are using, no, generally, a dhatu, suppose say Ji dhatu, you get Jayati. Jayati means it wins. But if you are adding a upasarga, B, it is Bijayate, not Bijayati. So Atmanapada and Paraspada variations takes place some exceptionally to certain roots with prefixes. Okay. Sometimes meaning also change takes place. Suppose I will give one more example. Badati means to speak. Okay. Vadati means to speak. But if it is badate, its meaning is you are working hard in the field, toiling in the field. Badate. So these are listed. Always remember. Grammar works with two types of rules. Rules are the changes which are governed by rules. There are changes which are governed by list. List means few changes, exceptions are there in every rule. These are the general description, rules which are rule governed, that is commonly applied. But in some sections, in some context, whether with upasarga or with change of meaning, the verbal, the same paraspada atmanapada has to be used. So they are separately listed in one section, which are exception to the general rule. Okay, so the Atmanapada section only tells you when Atmana become Parasmapada, when Atmanapada. These are only variation if with Upasarga or with a change of meaning. So there are different conditions which are listed in a particular section, which are called the exceptions. But the general rule is this. So always we have general rules, always we have exceptional rules. So general rules are first given for the syntactic structures, and meaning variation or the change of form bijayati, bijayate, jayati, bijayate, para, jayati, parajayate. So B parabhyam jehe sutra is there. B parabhyam J tells you the Ji dhatu, if it is preceded by B or para, the dhatu takes atmanapada suffix. That's all. Yes, mentioned. He has given separate rules. So these are exceptional rules. Only with particular roots, in a particular sense, you get this parasmatmanapada. They are used actually, secondarily. Primarily, so that is a general rule. Kartari karmani is used in the sense of bhavas, in sentence meaning. But when the verbal forms, some verbs with some prefix, with some meanings, they change their forms. But they will take only parasmatmanapada. So that's why they are separately listed in the 1-3 section. So in Prathama Pada, Prathama Adhyaya, Tritiya Pada, the Parasmapada Atmana separate section is there, which are the exception to these rules. Okay, so there are general rules, there are also exceptional rules. Yes?
Okay, sir.
Okay. When you go through, that's why when you read more and more, that's why, then you will see the difference, why it is there. So she has made that arrangement also. There are general rules, also exceptional rules. Apabada. We say apabada rules and utsarga means general rules. That also we have to keep in mind that any rule that we use, every rule has some exceptions. So he has listed also, but exceptions are listed. Exceptions are less. So they are listed. Where a general rule is given as a straight rule that this is the meaning of the thing, but it changes in this context like that. Conditional. Okay? Yes, please. Is it okay? Just try to think. This is what the system and how change takes, how many changes are explained by the sutras, how sutras are possible, how rules are, systematic or logical, whatever we know, we are trying to represent as it is there used in the language, and how grammarian has been able to justify to what extent. So that is all our thing to know. What is used only, what is said only, I am explaining you and presenting you that how our traditional system was so systematic, so logical also. As it is developed today, we are seeing in linguistics today, but the analysis has been done more meticulously, more systematically also in our. If we know both, we feel, oh, what we are talking about and where is the difference? What is grammar? What is linguistics? What is universal? Is it only one language or for any language? Only form changes. So that is what we should make and understand that our languages, we have also grammars, and our grammar we should read and we will know what we are talking about. So that is what, because it gives a link only, past and present, we can link and establish that what we know, how far it is true, and what we are exactly. So that is always, whether it is one or many, the only can be solved if you understand it with all these languages and their explanations given by grammarians and the linguists. Okay, so that is why Panini only referred for linguistics, because of the analysis the system he has built. Okay, now. Okay, so for today, let us see, think it again. Any question you can come. I will give examples. I will show how it is, and also tomorrow we'll see how this inflection, how the verbal forms are changing with this.
Sir, what is that Raghavan Introduction to General Linguistics? Just you told us, sir. What is that book, sir? Exactly.
Raghavan.
That is
Robbins. R.H. Robbins. He has written 2 books. One is for general linguistics and introduction, and the history of short history of linguistics. Short history of linguistics by R.H. Robbins. 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 He first wrote the history of Sanskrit. No, I don't have it here now, but I will show you. It is there. It is also online available. A Short History of Linguistics by R.H. Robbins. And
Thank
for
you,
all that I am talking, you please read that Subramanian's book. It is there. It is in Roman script also. So anybody can read and see that how he has tried to explain that. So I am also following all the books, both linguistics and Subramanian's book, even our Mahabhashya, Vakyapadya, whatever I know. I am trying to link that tradition, how it has come forward to explain, and more philosophy and more grammar, more science, how it is there. Yes, please. Next, anything?
Okay, blessings and link.
Yeah, I think Niharika has given the link. Please try. Be coordinated with each other. Any information you need, if you can get from each other. If you don't get, you can tell me, so that I will also give you. I will show you the book, and link also you will get. And read also Bloomfield Language. That is the basic book actually to talk about Panini's grammar and linguistics. That is the basic book which he talks and he texts that how Panini's system is linguistics and how it has helped modern linguistics to grow. So like that it is all. Okay, thank you all. See you tomorrow. Let us see. But be prepared. Yes, tomorrow we'll see the verbal conjugation and derivation. Both things I will try to complete tomorrow. We should see maximum possible. Okay, thank you all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yes.